Moana's Intrigue. Unleashed. Mysterious Island Chronicles. Chapter 1. The Calling of the Sea. The sun had just begun its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the village of Motunui. The villagers were busy with their evening routines, the air filled with the scent of roasted fish and the sound of children's laughter. Moana stood on the beach, her feet sinking into the soft sand as she gazed out at the vast open ocean. Despite her contentment with the life she had built as the village chief, a familiar longing tugged at her heart. It had been several years since Moana had restored the heart of Te Fiti and brought balance back to the ocean. Her adventures with Maui, the demigod, were now the stuff of legends. Yet the call of the sea never truly left her. She often found herself staring at the horizon, wondering what lay beyond. This particular evening, as the last rays of sunlight kissed the water, Moana noticed something unusual. A glimmering light far in the distance caught her eye. It wasn't the usual sparkle of the setting sun on the waves. It was something else, something mysterious and inviting. "Moana!" a voice called, breaking her reverie. It was Tui, her father. "Dinner's ready. Come join us." "I'll be right there," she replied, her eyes still fixed on the distant light. She felt a stirring within her, a sense of adventure that she hadn't felt in a long time. Whatever that light was, she knew she had to find out. Chapter 2. The Mysterious Light. The next morning, Moana prepared for a journey. She packed provisions and essential supplies, feeling the excitement build within her. Her grandmother's spirit, who always encouraged her to follow her heart, seemed to whisper in the rustling palm leaves and the gentle waves. "Moana, are you going somewhere?" It was her mother, Sina, her voice tinged with concern. "I saw something last night, out on the horizon. I need to find out what it is," Moana explained. Sina nodded, her eyes reflecting a mixture of worry and pride. "Be safe, my daughter. The ocean chose you for a reason." With her parents' blessing, Moana set sail on her trusty boat. The ocean welcomed her with open arms, the waves guiding her towards the mysterious light. The journey was peaceful, the sea breeze filling her sails as she ventured farther than she had in years. As night fell, the light grew brighter. It seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, drawing Moana closer. By dawn, she found herself approaching an island she had never seen before. It was shrouded in mist, its silhouette barely visible against the rising sun. Chapter 3. The Island of Secrets. The island was unlike any Moana had ever encountered. Towering cliffs encircled a dense jungle, and the air was thick with the scent of exotic flowers. As she stepped onto the shore, the mist parted, revealing a narrow path leading into the heart of the island. Moana felt a shiver of anticipation. She tied her boat securely and began her ascent up the path. The jungle was alive with sounds. Birds singing, leaves rustling, and the distant roar of a waterfall. As she ventured deeper, she noticed strange markings on the trees, symbols that seemed to glow faintly. "These are ancient," she murmured to herself, tracing her fingers over the carvings. "But what do they mean?" Her curiosity propelled her forward. After hours of trekking, she reached a clearing. In the center stood a magnificent stone structure, covered in vines and moss. It looked like a temple, ancient and mysterious. Who built this? Moana wondered aloud. Her answer came in the form of a voice behind her. "Welcome, Moana of Motunui." She spun around to see a figure emerging from the shadows. It was a man, tall and regal, with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of centuries. "Who are you?" Moana asked, her hand instinctively reaching for her oar. "I am Kaholo, guardian of this island," he replied, bowing slightly. "And you, Moana, have been expected." Chapter 4. The Guardian's Tale. Moana's curiosity was piqued. She followed Kaholo into the temple, which was adorned with intricate carvings and filled with the faint hum of ancient magic. They sat by a pool of crystal-clear water, the air around them shimmering with energy. "Kaholo, what is this place?" Moana asked, unable to contain her questions any longer. "This island is called Mahi'ai, the Hidden Isle," Kaholo explained. "It is a place of great power, a nexus of ancient energies that have shaped our world." Moana listened intently as Kaholo recounted the island's history. According to legend, Mahi'ai was once the home of the original navigators, the ancestors of all Polynesian voyagers. They harnessed the island's energies to chart the stars and navigate the seas. "But why is it hidden?" Moana asked. "The island was concealed to protect its secrets from those who would misuse its power," Kaholo said. "Only those chosen by the ocean can find it." Moana felt a surge of pride and responsibility. "Why was I called here?" Kaholo's expression grew serious. "A great imbalance is threatening our world once again. Dark forces seek to harness the island's power for their own purposes. You, Moana, have been chosen to stop them." Chapter 5. The trials of Mahi'ai Kaholo led Moana to the heart of the temple, where a large stone door stood. "Beyond this door are the trials of Mahi'ai," he said. "You must complete them to unlock the island's full power and protect it from those who seek to exploit it." Moana took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The air inside was cool and heavy with the scent of ancient stone. As she stepped inside, the door closed behind her, leaving her in near darkness. The first trial was one of strength. Moana found herself in a cavern filled with massive boulders. A narrow passageway on the other side seemed to be the only way forward. She realized she had to move the boulders to create a path. Drawing on her training and determination, Moana pushed and rolled the heavy stones. It was exhausting work, but she persisted, her muscles burning with the effort. After what felt like hours, she finally cleared a path and moved on to the next chamber. The second trial tested her wisdom. She entered a room filled with symbols and inscriptions. In the center was a large, ornate pedestal with a glowing crystal. The inscriptions seemed to tell a story, but the language was ancient and complex. Moana studied the symbols carefully, her mind racing. She remembered the carvings she had seen earlier in the jungle and realized they were clues. Piece by piece, she deciphered the message, revealing the knowledge needed to activate the crystal. As it lit up, the door to the next trial opened. The third trial was one of heart. Moana found herself in a serene garden where she encountered visions of her past, her family, her friends, and her beloved island. It was a test of her motivations and her connection to her home. As she walked through the garden, she reaffirmed her love for her people and her commitment to protect them. She felt her resolve strengthen, and with it, a sense of peace and clarity. When she emerged from the trials, Kaholo was waiting for her. "You have proven yourself, Moana. The power of Mahi'ai is now yours to wield." Chapter 6. The Gathering Storm. With the island's power now flowing through her, Moana felt a renewed sense of purpose. She and Kaholo spent the next few days preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the dark forces. They fortified the island's defenses and gathered allies from nearby islands who had also sensed the impending danger. One evening, as they were making their final preparations, a scout rushed into the camp. "They're coming!" he shouted. "A fleet of ships approaching from the east." Moana and Kaholo stood on a cliff overlooking the ocean. In the distance, they saw a fleet of dark ships, their sails emblazoned with sinister symbols. "Their leader is a sorcerer named Matui," Kaholo said grimly. "He seeks to control the island's power for his own gain." Moana's eyes narrowed. "We won't let that happen." As the enemy fleet drew closer, Moana rallied her allies. They set up strategic positions along the shore, ready to defend the island at all costs. The air was tense, the silence before the storm. When the first wave of attackers landed, Moana and her warriors fought bravely. The battle was fierce, with the clash of weapons and the roar of magic filling the air. Moana's connection to the island's power gave her an edge, allowing her to summon the elements to aid her. But Matui was powerful, and his dark magic was formidable. He confronted Moana on the beach, his eyes glowing with malevolent energy. "You cannot defeat me," Matui sneered. "This island's power will be mine." Moana stood her ground, her heart pounding with determination. "You underestimate the strength of the ocean and its chosen." With a fierce battle cry, she unleashed the full force of Mahiai's power. The ground trembled and the sea surged, overwhelming Matui's magic. The sorcerer was pushed back, his dark energy dissipating in the face of Moana's might. Chapter 7. An Unexpected Revelation. As the dust settled, Moana stood victorious. The enemy forces were retreating, their morale shattered. The island was safe, at least for now. But as she surveyed the battlefield, she noticed something strange. Among the fallen enemies, she found a young girl, barely conscious but still alive. Her eyes fluttered open, filled with fear and confusion. "Who are you?" Moana asked gently, kneeling beside her. "I'm Kaya," the girl whispered. "I was forced to fight. Please don't hurt me." Moana's heart ached with compassion. "You're safe now, Kaya. We won't harm you." As they tended to Kaya's wounds, Moana learned that she was not the only one who had been coerced into joining Matui's forces. Many of the enemy soldiers were villagers from distant islands, threatened and manipulated by the sorcerer. "We need to help them," Moana said to Kaholo. "They were victims too." Kaholo nodded in agreement. "We will do what we can." Chapter 8. Healing and Unity. In the days that followed, Moana and her allies worked to heal the wounds left by the battle. They reached out to the captured soldiers, offering them a chance to rebuild their lives. Kaya became a symbol of hope, her story inspiring others to seek a better path. Moana's leadership and compassion won the hearts of many, and the island of Mahiai became a beacon of unity and healing. The ancient powers of the island were not just a tool for defense, but a source of renewal and growth. One evening, as the sun set over the tranquil waters, Moana stood on the beach, reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. She felt a presence beside her and turned to see Kaholo. "You have done well, Moana," he said. "The island is safe, and its power is in good hands." Moana smiled. "I couldn't have done it without your guidance, Kaholo." As they stood there, watching the waves, a sudden realization struck Moana. The light she had seen on the horizon, the one that had drawn her to the island, it wasn't just a beacon, it was a call, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay beyond the known world. Chapter 9. The Unexpected Twist. Months passed, and life on Mahiai flourished. The island became a center of learning and exploration, attracting scholars and adventurers from far and wide. Moana embraced her role as a leader and protector, her connection to the island growing stronger each day. But one day, as she was exploring a secluded part of the island, she stumbled upon an old, hidden chamber within the temple. Inside, she found an ancient map, unlike any she had ever seen. It depicted not just the islands of Polynesia, but a vast, uncharted territory beyond. Her heart raced with excitement. The map was a treasure trove of new adventures, new lands to explore. But as she studied it, she noticed something odd. A series of symbols along the edge of the map seemed to correspond with the markings she had seen on the trees and in the temple. Moana's curiosity was piqued. She deciphered the symbols, revealing a hidden message. The journey continues, but beware the shadow that follows. A chill ran down her spine. What shadow? Was there another threat lurking in the unknown territories? The map's warning filled her with both excitement and apprehension. She knew she couldn't ignore it. The call of the sea was as strong as ever, and now with this new discovery, it seemed her journey was far from over. Moana returned to the village, the map clutched in her hand. She gathered her closest allies, including Kaholo and Kaya, and shared her discovery. "We have faced great challenges and emerged stronger," she said. "But there are more mysteries out there, more adventures waiting for us. Are you with me?" Her friends and allies responded with a resounding cheer. The spirit of exploration and discovery burned brightly within them all. As they prepared for their next journey, Moana couldn't shake the feeling that something unexpected awaited them. The shadow mentioned in the map's warning lingered in her thoughts, a reminder that the world was full of unknown dangers. But Moana was not one to shy away from challenges. With her heart full of courage and her spirit unyielding, she set her sights on the horizon once more. Chapter 10. The New Dawn. The morning of their departure was filled with a sense of anticipation. Moana stood at the bow of her boat, the map spread out before her. The island of Mahi'ai faded into the distance as they sailed towards the unknown. The journey was filled with wonder and discovery. They encountered new islands, each with its own unique culture and secrets. They made new allies and faced new challenges, always driven by the desire to explore and understand the world beyond. One night, as they camped on a remote island, Moana had a dream. She saw the shadow mentioned in the map, but it was not a force of evil. Instead, it was a guide leading her to an ancient secret buried deep within the earth. When she awoke, Moana felt a sense of clarity. The shadow was not something to fear, but a part of her journey, a piece of the puzzle that would unlock even greater mysteries. As they ventured deeper into uncharted waters, Moana and her companions grew stronger and wiser. They discovered ancient ruins and hidden temples, unraveling the secrets of their ancestors. And with each discovery, they grew closer to understanding the true nature of the world and their place within it. One day, as they approached a massive ancient structure rising from the ocean, Moana felt a sense of awe. This was it. The culmination of their journey, the place where all the clues had led them. The structure was a colossal stone gateway, adorned with the same symbols Moana had seen on the map. As they approached, the symbols began to glow, resonating with the energy of the island. Moana stepped forward, her heart pounding with excitement and anticipation. She placed her hand on the gateway, and it opened with a deep, resonant hum. Inside, they found a chamber filled with ancient artifacts and inscriptions. In the center was a pedestal, holding a single, glowing crystal. Moana approached the pedestal, her hand trembling as she reached for the crystal. As she touched it, a wave of energy surged through her, filling her with knowledge and understanding. The crystal revealed the truth. The world was connected by a network of ancient energies, and the islands were just the beginning. There were realms beyond their understanding, waiting to be explored. Moana's heart swelled with excitement. This was the beginning of a new era of exploration and discovery. The world was vast, and their journey was far from over. As they sailed back to Mahi'ai, Moana felt a sense of fulfillment. She had answered the call of the sea, faced unimaginable challenges, and discovered the true extent of the world's mysteries. But more than that, she had found her place in the world, as a leader, a protector, and an explorer. And with her friends and allies by her side, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The sun rose over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the ocean. It was a new dawn, a new beginning. Moana stood at the bow of the boat, her heart full of hope and determination. The journey continued, and she was ready for whatever adventures awaited them. And so, the Chronicles of the Mysterious Island came to an end. But the story of Moana's Intrigue Unleashed was just beginning. The world was full of endless possibilities, and Moana was ready to explore them all. If you like this short story, please like, share, and subscribe for future tales.